Listen, we have Chaotic Truth Live on the building. We'll come back to you, iPhone. Chaotic Truth Live is on the building. And I'm getting the hang of this Zoom thing. iPhone said that Kevin helped him. Who am I to say that he didn't? Who am I? Chaotic Truth, it's good to see you in the building. Looking sharp, man. The setup is ridiculous. I see the AKG. I got some work to do. But I'm getting ready to catch up to you, though. I'm catching up to you, Chaotic. Looking fresh.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining, man.
Thank you. I just got done doing a live stream on my own channel. And
Nice.
I just saw your live stream about Kevin Samuels. And I actually briefly just left a panel. I was only over there for like 5 minutes because they had just ended, but they were also talking about Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, it's hot right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. And I just like I said on the other panel.
Yeah.
In modern history, we've had prophets. We've had Marcus Garvey. We've had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We've had Malcolm X. We've had Farrakhan. Even in Africa, you've had Jerry Rawlings of Ghana. You have had Patrice Lumumba of Congo. And you've had Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso. But in America, recently, we haven't had too many prophets. But Kevin Samuels was that prophet. Kevin Samuels was an individual that, despite the current culture that we're living in, you have a culture of 40, 50-year-old men dressed in like they're 12 years old. Here goes a man who said, dress or act as if you're the CEO of a company. Act as if your associates are the CEOs or C-suite executives of companies. Present yourself in a business format wherever you go. Now, just like I said on the last panel, I'm going to say it on this panel. Suits, they may seem antiquated to some people, but suits have a history. And the history goes back to ancient England, where the royalty wore suits. The royal classes wore suits, not modern suits like this, but this is a variant of a variant of a variant. Okay. And with that, you act a little bit different when you have a suit on. You act more poised and more polished. And typically, what I believe is that you turn off that switch of whatever culture you're in, and you look at it for what it is. The suit is the most superior form of clothing in Western culture. It is. It's the attire of business. And I didn't listen to Kevin Samuels religiously, but I understand where he's coming from. I wasn't done.
Go ahead, bro. I was going to ask you about the suits, but go ahead. You're good.
Okay. And then his talking points about women were absolutely prophetic.
Okay.
You're average at best. That is the equivalent of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream speech.
Okay, I'm gonna cut you off there.
Okay, well, I wasn't done, but you gotta let me
say. No, stop. Are you being chaotic? Are you being serious right now?
Sir, if you come to my channel, you will know I'm being 100% serious. I absolutely believe that. I believe that there is power in that you are average at best. He noticed a problem in our current culture. A woman, like that woman, had the nerve to say that she deserved a high value man, a man making millions of dollars or something like that. He had to put her in her place. Like, lady, if you truly want to get married,
right?
If you truly want to be in the sexual market, you're going to have to come to the realization that, listen, there are hierarchies in life. And unfortunately, a man with that type of money, he is not really going to pursue you.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with the firefighter. There's nothing wrong with the police officer, the school teacher, the mid-level manager. Back in the day, this woman would have been okay.
So I appreciate it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take things. So he's a prophet. Kevin definitely was prophetic in his teachings. He let women know that essentially they need to get it together, because if they don't, they're going to run out of time to get it together. They're going for way too much right now. And it was his prophetic meaning and destiny and time to be exactly in the moment in time and space to where he was wished. Now, I want to ask you a few things, and then we're going to go to Lin, because I know Lin has a few questions, and she wants to say a few things on the panel as well, because I saw her unmute herself. But I want to say a few things. I know that you're taking it. I know that you're serious. Forgive me. I'm not trying to insult you, but I do sense the satiricalness. But I know that you're serious as well. But I do want to mention in all seriousness that guys do see Kevin Samuels, as a prophet and things of that nature. And once again, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but we have to be completely understanding and acknowledging of the traumatic abuse that was kind of seen, the things that were said. Not all the things that were said by him were very good.
You can turn your camera on.
One second, iPhone.
It don't matter. I know.
1 second, iPhone. My bad. And so some of the things he said were pretty problematic, man, especially the clips of him talking about domestic discipline. I don't know if you saw that clip of him talking about domestic discipline, where he, referenced Sean Connery speaking to Barbara Walters in an interview, of which Sean Connery said, Barbara, sometimes women just need to be slapped, right? And Kevin Samuels referenced that and said sometimes, kind of what you're saying now, that sometimes women just need to be told or have a verbal slap. Actually, we have the sound effect, right, that Kevin used to do, the whoosh sound, right? And so I think that there are problematic things of what he said, and that domestic discipline was one of those things where he alluded to needing to smack a woman's bum or whatever it might be. It can be interpreted a million different ways. It didn't sound that good, though. And so prophetic or not prophetic, going against the grain, getting along to go along, whatever it might be, it's controversial, and some of the things he said just are wrong, man. I'll be quite honest with you. Now, having said that, do I think that, once again, there are good things? Is a broken clock? I'm not saying he's a broken clock. Is the devil right sometimes about Jesus? The devil believes in God. I'm not saying Kevin Samuels is any of that, but understand going forward that just because somebody says one right thing or one wrong thing doesn't mean one thing or the other. But what is their consistent character and morality, or what is their life shown us? What is the results of their actions? What is the person that they are now reflective of the actions of the words that they're saying? How do those measure against each other? That's the big problem I think I'm having with a lot of people. Now, Kevin, I know that he got, started later in life and things of that nature. He became rich, so he became the high value person he's talking about, and this and that. But I didn't hear the majority of his messages weren't about becoming a better person or this and that. You've acknowledged that he's a prophet and he spoke to women. So I want guys to drop that message that Kevin is helping guys out. That's not what Kevin spoke to most of the time. He was a speaker to women. And for a lot of guys, the speaking message was that of accountability, quote unquote. I'll let you stay. Just give me 1 second, Chaotic. I know you're a major. I want to let Lin say something because I'm sure you'll have something to say to it. Lin, I know you heard Chaotic just now. What did you think about that? What do you think about the conversation? Oh, I think Lin just dropped off. Oh, no, she's still here. Never mind. Go ahead, Lin. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Trip. Nice to speak with you tonight. I just have, I do hear the term high value, and we know it's like a popular term nowadays, but, you mentioned you put high value and Mr. Kelsey Samuels in the same sentence, and I really don't think those two terms belong in the same sentence, because he definitely was not a man of high value. High value to me speaks to character more so than the money in your bank account, and how you treat women. And there's a reason why women like Cassie, for instance, will leave Diddy, a so-called quote unquote high value man, for her trainer. Okay. In comparison. So it's not all about the money, contrary to popular belief. But I'm just going to repeat the question in my super chat because you didn't get to it yet.
Oh,
but
shoot, my bad.
No, it's okay. I'm because we have some men on the panel, and I would really like to know from them too, since they are supposedly Kevin Samuels supporters. Why is it that men are okay ignoring the harm that Kevin Samuels was bringing to women so long as they were getting what they needed? Because it's this selfish mentality is why many women are actually upset and why they don't mourn for him. Because for 2 years, he was bringing harm to women. And there were many women that were speaking out. So while you were getting your little financial advice or whatever you thought you were getting from that channel, on the flip side, which actually is the part that a lot of people are ignoring in all of this, because it's very convenient to ignore the things that he was saying to women that were harmful, the way that he was treating them. You would visibly see them shut down. You would visibly see them hurting. He would cut them off. He would curse them out. He would do so and so, talk to them harshly. But then we wonder why, Black women are not, quote unquote, feminine when you speak to them a certain way. But, I don't want to because when you start going too far, a lot of times people tend to start talking in circles and don't get to the point, and we get off track. So I just want to stay completely on track. Why is it that many men who support Kevin Samuels were willing to simultaneously ignore the harm that he was doing to the woman, so long as they were getting what they needed? Why is there that selfishness?
All right. I think that's a very good question, Lynn. And let me say, before we get to the explanation or going on to getting some answers from that question, I want to say my apologies if you've donated on Super Chat. Donate your Super Chat to my email or email me your Super Chat, okay? If you donated on Super Chat, email me. I'll put it in the chat right now. Just copy and paste my email. I'm typing it right now. The honest truth. Oh, my R key, Jesus Christ. YT@gmail.com. I'm buying a keyboard, bro. The honest truth YT. If you super chatted me and I didn't read it, email me your super chat and I'm going to read it on the live. Okay. So forgive me, y'all. I didn't check that. Chaotic Live. Do you want to go ahead and answer that question that Lin had?
I do.
Sure.
And please tell me if I'm being long-winded.
No, you're fine.
Kevin Samuels preached about being a great businessman.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of women, Kevin Samuels preached about being conservative. The problem with the women calling into the show a lot of the times is that they were not conservative. A lot of these women were in fact Jezebels. A lot of these women, as younger people might say, were for the streets. A woman who's raised in a nuclear family, who's raised with a strong father, would have never called into Kevin Samuels. A lot of these women that called in were fighting their true nature, which is being domestic. I'm a little bit older than you, I think, Lynn, from the sounds of it. But there was a time when women prided, even in the 90s when I was a kid, there was a time when women prided themselves on being domestic, cooking, cleaning, being quiet around men, allowing a man to have his peace. There was nothing wrong with that. Even women in the 90s. My mother is a woman of a certain age now. My mother had a very professional job. But even still, my mother took care of her family first, cooking, cleaning, making sure that we did our homework, making sure we had tutors growing up, not going out with her girlfriends, drinking every weekend like a lot of modern women do now. The things that Kevin Samuels brought in to fruition were in fact shaming tactics, which worked, obviously. Women should be generally shamed for a Jezebel-ish behavior or Jezebel-like behavior. A lot of modern women today are not married, 30 plus years old, still kicking it like they're in their late teens, early 20s, like it's college. A lot of women today, they're combative.
Chaotic. I want to say a lot of women don't want to get married, man, to be honest with you. And true. I don't think marriage just isn't what it is. I mean, people don't take marriages seriously anymore, bro. But for the people who do take marriage seriously, that's a serious thing. So.
Yeah, but and I agree with you, sir. But if you just look at statistics, a nuclear family is the best way to raise children. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is that I was a teacher before, and I also was a probation officer. So I worked in the courts, and I also was a teacher. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, the dysfunction in the Black community, especially, is not. In mind you, it's not just the Black community now. It's all over. But the dysfunctioning behaviors come from the very types of women that called into Kevin Samuels and questioned him on things that he said about women. Now I'm about to be done here because I feel like iPhone wants to say something. Mm-hmm. And thank you, Jay Truth, for and thank you, Jay Truth, for letting me talk.
No problem.
But Black women have been listening to vulgar rap songs for 30 years, reciting some of the most vicious lyrics.
Who created them? Who created those songs?
Jay Truth, I did not speak when Lin spoke. May I just finish, sir? Is that all right with if I finish Lin?
Well, yes, but let's not gaslight Lin. It's just a question.
Yeah.
Just answer her question.
Oh, I wasn't directly talking to Lin.
Well, I tell you what, the Zoom meeting has 6 minutes, so
okay.
I have to buy Zoom, so we'll have to wrap this all up in 6 minutes. Anyway,
so all I'm saying is that Black women listen to vulgar rap. They listen to Cardi B. They listen to Meg Thee Stallion. They don't listen to Anita Baker or Sade anymore.
Anita Baker. Do you listen to Anita Baker? Do you listen?
Do you want me to sing an Anita Baker song for you, sir, right now?
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
We're getting off track because he's not answering who actually is creating that music.
There you go, Lin. Let's ask Lin's question. We only have a few minutes on Zoom. So
tear down the George Floyd statues and put up Kevin Samuels statues.
You didn't answer who created the rap music, sir. Who created it? Who created the genre?
Lin, it doesn't matter.